for today, we are here and we're really excited to have a guest speaker. This is Amanda Towne, who is joining us, and Amanda has quite a variety to her background in terms of training and credentials and in terms of her business that she is offering. And yeah, I think without any further ado, you don't need to listen to me. We're going to let Amanda take the floor, introduce herself, and let us know a little bit about what she's up to. So welcome to Amanda.
All right. Thank you, Sheila. And yes, and I won't start with all of my credentials because that'll be part of what I'll talk about in the beginning, because I think it's so important to hear people's journey, not just where you are now, but how did you get there? Because sometimes people just talk about how great everything is now, but it's so valuable to know, what did you do to get there? Because there was something that took you on this journey. There were questions that you had. There was something you were seeking. And so what were some of the things? What were things that did work? What were things that didn't work? So I want to talk about my journey to begin with. And my journey really started with yoga. When I started doing yoga, it brought me into the present moment, and it opened me up to some ideas of Eastern philosophy and looking at things in a different way. And like most people, there are things that happen in life that really make you look, oh, wow, what am I doing in my life? What's going on? I had a year with divorce and deaths in my family, and a lot of things that made me just really look at life and how it works and how I wanted to live. So it made me dive deeper into some of these different philosophies, and looking at how I was living, how the universe works. So that led me on my path, and it took a while. I dabbled in some different things, and like anything, it's fun to look back and see how the dots connected, because I can see, oh, I met that person and they told me about The Secret, and then she told me about Louise Hay and Wayne Dwyer and got me on that path. So I was on that path for a while. And then there was another pivotal moment where someone introduced me to Abraham Hicks. And boy, did that open up a lot for me. Once I started listening to Abraham Hicks, I was pretty much obsessed and I could not get enough. And that led to another pivotal part in my life where, again, I started looking at what's really important to me. How do I want to live? Where are my passions? Because I had taken a very straight and narrow path of what's safe and secure and what came easily to me, and that was accounting. And so right out of college, I decided I'm going to be a CPA. I'm going to do the Big Four, and took that whole path. And so I was still in corporate accounting and wanted to retire as quickly as I could. So that I, could just make enough money so that I didn't have to do it anymore. And I kind of flipped that on its head and said, I'm just going to take a break for a while. I'm going to sell my house. I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to dive deep into this stuff. And I'll probably end up going back to accounting and finance, but we'll see where it comes out. And the more I dove into this, the more I just became even more passionate about it and loved the awarenesses, loved the differences it was making in my life and how I feel and how I live. And so it no longer became how quickly can I get to retirement, but what can I do that I really love? And again, this has been my passion ever since I started learning about it. I've had a hunger for it. I can't get enough. And I'm a learner by trait. So I'm just, give me a book, I'll read it, listen to podcasts. I was obsessive for a long time. And so that's kind of balanced out now more, where listening to my intuition, I don't need to know all of it. There are certain things. And again, it's like following those dots. What's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? And on my path, once I started really following Abraham Hicks, and then I left my corporate job in 2018. One thing, I followed Joe Dispenza and did some of his retreats and had some great breakthroughs doing his meditations. And he talks about raising your vibration, that once you raise your vibration and look at those old things from the past, it completely changes them. And I did have some of that happen in those meditations, but I felt like it was slow. It was kind of slow change for me. And then I got into hypnosis. Hypnosis has always fascinated me. And again, through synchronicity and meeting a certain person that told me about rapid transformational therapy and Marissa Peer. So I did her program, and it was life-changing for me. And it's a lot focused on the inner child and healing the inner child and things from the past. And I really loved that and started doing that with clients, but I thought I want more. I want more to offer to my clients. And I found Nick Brew. And that was also kind of a missing link for me with the law of attraction, because I felt like this stuff really makes sense, but it feels like there's a missing piece. It feels like, what if it's not quite working? And because it was working for me, but I felt like there was something I wasn't quite getting. And that's where Nick really helped, and saying, no, you look at your thoughts, look at your beliefs, you can clear those so that you're more consistently in alignment, instead of just slapping a happy face sticker over it and pushing yourself up. So that was really transformative for me. And then I went to a retreat here in Miami Beach, and I met a lot of the people on this call. I met Sheila there. I met Kelly there. I met Elena there. And of course, so that was a huge transformation. As I look at that step, following that inspiration to go there was an explosion of meeting all these people. And one of the people I met also was Gina Mallison, and joining her group, and later signing up for her Mallison method. And that evolution was, I felt like what I was doing before with clearing work was a lot of kind of intellectual process of reframing things. And what this did with the Mallison method is it took me more into the sensing and feeling, really getting even more into the emotions, which I feel like is such a huge key. Because even before that, whenever I would talk to clients, it's about really feeling your emotions and getting in tune with them, and getting in tune with your body. How does it feel in your body? How do emotions manifest in your body and show up? And it's amazing that so many of us, and me included, so much I can look back and I can see where I had shut off a lot of that feeling and sensing, and to where, things happen and you just don't want to feel something. So you learn how to shut it off. So then it's a process of learning again. How do emotions make me feel, and allowing them, and learning emotions are temporary if you allow them, but if you push them down, they just are stuck energy, and they build up as resistance. So Gina's program was so transformative for me and so fun. If you've ever met Gina, her energy is off the charts, and it's just so contagious. It's a lot of fun. And that's what, watching her and watching these other beautiful women in her group, I thought, they're having so much fun. I want some of that. I want to experience more fun in my life, more joy, more happiness, because sometimes we look at these physical manifestations and think that's what it's about, but really we want to feel good. We want to be happy in our lives and have fun. And so again, that really led me to that. And I'm so grateful for that group. And also through Gina, and I'd already known Liz Hayes through the Abraham Hicks community, but hearing more about what she was doing through Gina and learning that Liz was doing inner child work and combining it with the law of attraction things and the inner being, that was another big piece for me, bridging that gap, because I myself felt like, wait a minute, I have these emotions. Don't tell me to ignore them. Don't tell me they're wrong. There's something there for me. And so working with Liz really helped me with that and helped me develop this relationship with my inner being. I had heard Abraham Hicks talk about the inner being for a long time, and hearing from other spiritual teachers, it's all about connecting to your higher self. But what did that really mean? And how do you really do that? Because it's one thing to hear it and absorb it here, but really to integrate it here and to live it. And that's what Liz's program has really helped me do. It's about syncing up the inner child and the inner being. And it's that relationship of the inner child and inner being. And I'll go into that a little more, but just to talk about this journey piece a little bit more, I think it's helpful also in knowing there's no one path. It's unique to everyone. And something that worked for you last year, last month, last week, you may get to a point where you're like, you know what? I'm done with that. I'm going to move on to something else. And that is okay. It's really about listening to yourself and what resonates with you and following that path. And again, it's fun to look back and think, oh, that, and you may have thought, oh, I did that, but it wasn't the right thing, but maybe it led you to the next thing. So and realizing it's never wrong. You've never gone wrong. It's part of the path. It's part of the process, and we are the process. So that's my journey. And again, we're all on a unique journey, and just in honoring wherever you are and knowing nothing has gone wrong. You're right where you're supposed to be. And that brings me to the now. And so doing all of this, what has it done for me? And especially in the last year, when I look back a year ago now to right now to a year ago, I feel so much different. Like I can tell my vibration is so different. I have such more steadiness. I have more control over my emotions. I have more energy in my body, feeling that energy. And that's part of your intuition. That's part of what's speaking to you. That's like that little ping, like, hey, listen to me. Like maybe if you've got this bad feeling in your gut, maybe it's saying, nope, not right now. Back up. Don't go down that road. And so really getting more in tune with that and in touch with it. And again, I feel so much better when I look back. Also, some of my physical symptoms last year, I'm overall very healthy person. But some of the things that I had, I was suffering from dry eyes to where it was burning. And I was looking at all of these things. I was even putting coconut oil drops in my eyes just to get some relief because they were so dry. And somewhere along the way during the last year, that just went away. I also used to have dull headaches every afternoon. It would just come on where I would have a dull headache. And then my energy would just start to go down. I would start up here in the morning with my processes and get really high. And then through the day, my energy would just wane and I would start to get this headache. And some people might think, well, that's normal. It's just life. Well, it doesn't have to be. It really doesn't. You can have that high energy all day. And that again, too, somewhere during the last year, that just stopped. And I noticed more and more my energy at the end of the day, like, oh, I still feel good. I feel like I can still do more things. Of course, there's nothing wrong with relaxing, but it's good to feel that energy and just feel good. That's what everyone wants, is to feel good. And also what's different is this inner relationship. I really feel like I have a relationship now with my inner being. And that's kind of an Abraham Hicks term, but whether you want to call it your higher self, source, whatever it is, it's that relationship with that. And I feel like it's not just me and this physical body going through this life anymore, that I really do have that connection and that connection with everything and everyone, and feeling more of that oneness and the worthiness thing. So, and this is so important, and our worthiness. And I feel like everyone has bits and pieces of this at some level. Am I really worthy? And the more we can strengthen that and know our own worth, it just makes such a huge difference. And I did do the Sarah Landon worthiness course last fall, loved it, amazing. And I know it's made such a difference for me. All of these processes, including Sarah's course, I followed inspiration to go on the Abraham Hicks New Zealand cruise last fall. And I turned 50 on the cruise, and I had a conversation with my inner being. I want to do something really fun for my birthday. I want it to be something big and spectacular. And so I got in the hot seat for the very first time on my birthday. They sang me happy birthday. I listened to that hot seat over and over. And now it makes me teared up again too. Because when I listen to it, they are saying over and over, you are so important, not just today, but every day, every minute of every day, and infinite possibilities, infinite choices for you. And I love that message. And I feel like if I hadn't done all the work leading up to that and feeling that worthiness, I wouldn't have gotten in the hot seat. And it was one of the best birthday presents I could ask for. And there were so many things that happened on that cruise that were just amazing and wonderful. And the more that you can see those things and see how things are working out for you, and how you are being a creator, how you are so powerful, that really helps with that worthiness. And we talk about tuning to different emotions. And so when you can look at those things, oh, I am worthy. And my inner being is here. My inner being wants me to have everything that I desire. So that's really a beautiful thing. And one of the things that they said when I was in the hot seat is, and was a big thing on theme of the cruise, is don't block everything. Let in what you can. So it's like, okay, looking at, okay, here's my vortex. I want it all to come in at once. Like when you do that, you're blocking everything because, but you can, and they kept saying over and over, let in what you're ready for. And that kind of goes back to the thing of my journey. Do the steps, let in whatever you're ready for. It'd be great to be like Eckhart Tolle or Byron Katie and go from 0 to 100 enlightenment and just one day, poof, have this epiphany. But for most of us, it doesn't happen that way. There are these steps. There's the little nuggets that we follow along the way, and let in what you're ready for, and then be okay with that. It's okay wherever you are. So that leads me also to where I am now and what I'm doing with clients and these processes. I've taken all of these things and combined them in, and I'm using the inner child and the inner being, and it's this sync up method. It's syncing up the energy of the two. And the inner child is this earthly part of us, the part of us that has emotions, the part of us that has preferences and desires. And we came here to earth to experience these things. It's part of our expansion. And then we have our inner being, that is the heavenly side of us, infinite intelligence. But you can't have this life on earth with this and not with the inner being and without the inner child. You need both. And so it's really this relationship of the two of them. And I call this, well, Abraham calls it you and you. And this is being a blended being here on earth and living this life. And some people may ask, well, why do you even have to look at the inner child? Why not just go to the inner being? Well, again, if you're Byron Katie or Eckhart Tolle, great. Like just zoom, go up here. But still, they're living on earth, and we all have this inner child. And it's not like you're stuck at a certain age. It's not like, oh, this is your trauma side. No, it's the part of you that has emotions and desires and preferences, and honoring that. And something Abraham talks about is the expansion. We came here for the expansion, and these desires and preferences and these questions give us the expansion. And it's this back and forth. And there's lots of tools to use between the inner child and inner being that have really helped me. Visualizations. I have also recorded some hypnosis audios. I still bring in hypnosis. And it's kind of like a guided meditation. It just gets you in a deeper state to get more comfortable with your inner child and inner being, and for you to identify with that. Because again, everyone has that unique experience of their inner child and inner being. And for myself, and I know for a lot of clients, they've had experiences with their inner child and something in a session, and they will, oh, my inner child just grew up. She's not little anymore. And it's like this energetic growth. And it's not one or the other. We need both. And we go through our lives with both. And then I'm also using the calibration with that. And the calibration, also Gina calls it the malibration. She's coined that under her own terms. And Abraham talks about calibrating a lot too. And when we have a wobble with our emotions, it's like the vibration of our inner child is down here and our inner being is up here. So that calibration gets us in tune with our emotions and then walks us up, releasing resistance, and walks us up that ladder and calibrates us. And we tune to different emotions that we do want to feel. And it's like you're coming to that level of your inner being. And once you're up here, you're in that receiving mode. You can receive all of these awarenesses where these downloads can happen. And then I've even integrated bringing in the inner being and speaking through the inner being, because that's another evolution of it. And if you're in Sarah Landon's group, you know all about channeling, and there's different ways of channeling, and we all have the ability to do it. And so this is a great way to get into that mode of that receiving mode and playing with that, letting that come through, and having myself or someone else facilitate that for you, because it's the question and answer dance. And you need the questioner to summon the energy from you to let that come through and allow those pure vibrations from your inner being to come through. And it's such a beautiful, joyous thing. And so that is the process now that I'm using with clients. And it's been so satisfying, so fun. And yeah, it's been really great. It's made a huge difference in my life. And the thing is, I think I have stopped asking, when am I going to be done? Like, I feel going through these shifts and you think, oh, maybe this will be the last big shift. No, it's just going to keep happening, but it'll happen more rapidly. And also where you integrate it quicker, hopefully sometimes it comes with discomfort, sometimes, so that discomfort will go quicker. It doesn't have to come with discomfort. But talking to another channeler, that was one thing they said: we're human. We have resistance. That's one reason we're here. It helps with our expansion. So if you have some resistance, it's okay. Not judging yourself, not pushing against it, because again, that creates more resistance, but just accepting it for whatever it is. So yeah. So does anyone have any questions or comments?
Well, I have a question, Amanda. I'm curious. You must work with a wide variety of people. So how do you determine which method to use? You've got a lot of different tools in your tool belt.
Yes, that's a good question. And that is because people are at different stages. And so sometimes they do have something where I will still use a hypnosis, and we'll go back and do some more deeper healing on it, to bring that energy forward. And that's on a case-by-case basis. And I feel like instead of digging, though, we're letting it evolve naturally by doing the sync up method and the calibrations. Some of these things just come out. And if I find, oh, there's something deeper here that's needs a little extra work, then I'll use the hypnosis, and that has really good results to help some of those deeper things. They're usually from childhood, and it's all about perspective. It's all about changing the perspective of what happened, and again, bringing that energy forward. Yeah, good question.